Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Randesha, or Randy for short. And this is the fourth time I'm doing this video. So I keep on trying to tell you guys every single thing in one video because I'm trying to be a little perfectionist. And like as proof, I already did this budget. This is my fourth time setting this up. And originally I was going to just show you guys this one and just talk through it, but I said that I would do a budget with me. So showing you guys that budget that I already did and talking through it is not a budget with me. So I just need to embrace the fact that I'm not going to tell you guys every single thing that I want to tell you in this video, but it's not like I'm not going to make another budget with me video. So with that said, let's get started. So this sheet right here, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to think about taxes. So I could have sworn I made this last year, but I can't find it. But it's basically a master needed tax docs half sheet that I'm just keeping track of as I think of them, tax documents that I can expect to receive for 2019. So that's what this is. So I'm gonna flip to the back and we're gonna go backwards because this is like the heart of my process and I want to spend the most time here. So let's just start in the back and quickly go through everything. The only thing I didn't rewrite is my notes page. So basically this section is my this month section. So anything that I had in December's notes for like the next month section for January, I wrote it over to right here. So anything budget wise that I want to remember or anything that will affect my budget once I started setting January up, I wrote it right here. So you can use this section if you want to, or just, utilize your notes page the way you want to, but that's how I did it right here. And then this section is to try/update. So throughout the month of January, if, a lot of people are going to be putting together their budget, and I love budget with me videos. So I'm going to be tuning into a lot of budget with me videos. So if I find an idea that a planner babe is utilizing in her budget and I want to try it out, I'm going to write it right here. Or if I think of something, because this is a new budget planner from the Happy Planner. So I've never used this layout before. So to improve my process, if I think of something, I'm going to write it right here. And if I think of something for February, then I'm going to write it down here. I already know that I have a wedding for February to think of and things like that. So that's already down here. And then right here is my March rollover. So basically, if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, my rollover is basically the amount of money we need the first week of any month. So since we're talking about March, the first week of March, from the 1st to the day before our first paycheck of March, how much money do we need in order to pay our mortgage and any other expenses that pop up that first week, just so we have some breathing room, because our paycheck, like one of our paychecks, does not cover our full mortgage amount. Okay, so that's what I put right here. And let me pause really quick. Before I get into this planner, I do have a budget meeting with my husband. And that's where you see like the other YouTubers, how they make a list of all their expenses for the month and then they put an amount to it. That's what this is. But I happen to do it in Excel. So because if you guys are familiar with Dave Ramsey's zero-based budget, that's kind of what we follow, but I do it very loosely because his system doesn't exactly work for me. Because we did take FPU, Financial Peace University, but after I was done with it, I'm just like, I tried the cash envelopes. They just didn't work with me. Spending cash or swiping my debit card, it doesn't affect me. What affects me, I found out, is that seeing my cash balance or my account balance get lower for something that, like, I nickname my accounts and I'll put like you'll see like a diaper fund. So diapers and wipes. If I'm in Target and I want to buy something extra, because you know Target gets you every single time you go in there for 2 things and you come out with 10. So if I go in Target and I pick up something extra and I didn't budget for it, that money has to come out of an account. So if I look and I see like, oh, I have this diapers account that has some money in it, but do I really want to take away from my baby's diaper account to pay for some mascara or something? No. So that's what I found out really helps me. And I can get more into that. Like if you have questions or anything, leave a comment down below or hit me up on Instagram if you want to DM me. My Instagram handle is Randy for short, the same as it is on YouTube. So that's what this is, and that's where I'm going to be getting my numbers from. So, yeah. So I'm just going to move on because my perfectionism is trying its hardest to kick in. So with this page right here, this is my and that's in parentheses, planned expenses. So basically oh, my baby just woke up. Okay, so any expenses outside of my fixed expenses, variable, or debt, I am going to list right here. And business expenses that aren't on my current expenses tracker. If you watch my tracker video, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the video before this one. So everything on my current expenses should be on my calendar. But anything, my monthly budget calendar, this calendar. But once you get to January, that's when you start to incorporate your social events. So I check my catch-all calendar and like my work calendar, just every calendar that I have, because I have multiple planners. I check them all for things like appointments, birthdays, annual fees, things that I just want to buy. I'm going to put it on here. That's my planned expenses because I plan to spend money on those things. But say something comes up, you'll see that I have 2 birthdays in the month of January. And I'm going to write it down here, write my expenses. So I'm going to fast forward this part. Okay, so these are my planned expenses for the month of January. I have Go Wild tickets here and I'm budgeting 0. So I'm going to cross out the date up here and put budgeted. This is going to stay category description. And then this amount, oh, I could have kept it. That amount is going to be the actual amount. And then I'm going to cross out need and want because I don't need it. So I budgeted 0 for Go Wild tickets. They go on sale on the 18th. I don't know if I'm going to go to Go Wild because even though I've been in the planner community since 2017, I haven't really talked to anybody. Like I watched the videos, I watched the releases and things like that, but I haven't engaged with anybody. So yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to go because I feel like since I don't know anybody, even though Anaheim is about 3 hours away from me, I feel like it's not going to be as fun. So I might go next year. I don't know. But just in case I decide to change my mind, I'm just putting it there as a visual reminder that Go Wild tickets are available in January, but I don't know if I'm going to go. So if I do end up going, I'm going to put the actual over here. Okay, so like I was saying, I have 2 birthdays in January. These people have not said anything about their birthday yet. So I don't know if they're going to actually even have anything, but I'm going to set aside some money just in case they do. So, yeah. And then this daycare fee is an annual thing, and I got it off of my annual tracker. And then this Norton desktop is a annual expense as well. So again, that's where your trackers come into play so that you don't miss anything. If something happens to come up that you miss, just go ahead and write it on your current expenses tracker if it's going to be a monthly thing, or if you have something in Black Friday, like you signed up for the new Hulu package that has Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus or something like that. If you signed up for that and you still need to add it to your monthly expenses, go ahead and add it. But this is what I'm trying to say. This is where I put in my planned expenses. So another thing, the unplanned expenses, it comes into play when, say, like this person ends up having a dinner, but this person does not. So that's $50 that I know that I could use for something else. So say something else happens in January that I want to go to. So say like I end up going to Go Wild. That $50 that this dinner didn't happen, I know that I could put towards that Go Wild tickets. And I think Go Wild tickets are like $500, like over $500 this year. So I know that could be $50 towards that. So, or if it's something other than Go Wild that I just didn't know, I'll just write it right here and write the budgeted amount will be 0, and then the actual amount will be the actual amount that I spent. Okay, and then down here is dot grid. So honestly, this is probably just going to be a decorative moment. Really, like, I hardly ever go over, like, need more than these lines, like more than a couple of lines to track my planned and unplanned expenses, because all of my money is already allocated. And if I keep having unplanned expenses, then that means that I'm going to be pulling money away from something else or tapping into my savings fund or something like that. But if you want to track expenses, especially if you're a budget newbie, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you track your expenses, because you need to know what's outgoing and what's coming in. I already know what's going out and what's coming in, so I don't track my income for the month. Speaking of which, if you guys want to know, our total income that I'm budgeting is a combination of our January income, and there's 5 pay periods, so we have extra income for January, and it's our December rollover to pay for items in the first week of January. So that total is, let's see, 10,281 spot 42. And I mean, knowing that number doesn't help you. And I swear this isn't like a, I don't know, like even if your budget is your income is lower than mine, higher than mine, I think this process will work for you if you know what's already going out and what's coming in. For the most part, you don't need to know every single thing, but you do need to know, for the most part, what's going out and what's coming in order for like my exact process to work. But again, make the process work for you. Don't try to be exact like me. So yeah, that is the unplanned planned expense page. And we're gonna move on. So this top part, I should probably turn it this way. This top part, I'm sorry, I write sideways, I apologize. This top part I'm going to use as a sinking funds distribution tracker. And then down here, I'm going to use it as my sinking funds tracker. So up here, by what I mean by sinking funds distribution is basically anything that we pay out of our sinking funds. I'm not going to go into too much detail on sinking funds because that's going to be my next video, but I'm just going to set it up with you guys for the month of January. So for this page, when January starts, if we need to pay anything out of our sinking funds, then this is where I'm going to write that down, because I want to know, basically, once I get to the sinking funds, I'm going to write the beginning balance right here. I want to know if anything, any purchase makes me go below this beginning balance, then I'm going to write it right here. But say I put in, we have a financial advisor. So say I put in $400 because his fee is due in April, and taxes is coming up again. So we're going to set aside $600 for that. And then vacation, this one is debatable. I might cross this one out because I just got to talk to my husband about it. Because we're starting our debt journey in 2020. And I'm just like, do we really need to take a vacation while we're on our debt journey? So I have to talk to him again about it, but it's there for now. So say we put this money in our savings. So this is $12.50 in the month of January. If something comes up where I need to spend a little bit of this, I'm not going to write it up here because I haven't gone below my my beginning balance for January. So if I have to spend a little bit of money for whatever reason that I put into the sinking funds as the month is going, for me, it's okay because I needed to use that money. So it's just, it kind of washes. So even though I wrote this down, I can always change this number. So say like for my financial advisor, if I have to spend $200 of that $400, then at the end of the month, I'm just going to put that we only had $1,050 instead of $1,250, and then I'm just going to do the balance. I'm going to just pretty much pretend like it never happened because I need to spend that money. If you want to track what you spent that sinking funds money on, then do you. But as for me, I don't track it because at the end of the day, I needed it. So it's like, I better have a damn sure good reason why I'm spending it, but I know myself. And if I spend money that's already put in my sinking funds, then I needed to spend that money. You get it? But if you don't get it, again, I'll elaborate more in the next video. So right here, this right here is a monthly challenge that comes with the planner. I don't know if I'm going to participate in every month, but I know for January, I'm using the no spin trackers that came in the planner companion pack, and I'm going to be doing a no spin on planner supplies in the month of January. So if I don't end up doing this, I'll probably slap a sticker over it. But for down here, I'm going to put my February rollover. So what expenses do I need to cover from the 1st of February to the day before we get paid, which is the 6th. So I'm going to go ahead and write that out. So Feb roll. Okay, so these are all the expenses that's going to come out in the first week of February from the 1st to the 6th, which is we get paid on the 7th of February. That's our first February paycheck. So we need to make sure that since our first check of February does not cover the entire mortgage, we need to make sure we have the difference of like what's remaining after we pay the mortgage, like that little bit extra that we still need to pay on the mortgage, plus all of the rest of these expenses that are coming out, like gas, food, and childcare that we need to pay that first week in order to have some breathing room. Otherwise, our check will be eaten up by the mortgage, and we would still have to cover these because these are our fixed expenses. So, yeah, so there you go. I'm not going to put the total or the mortgage difference because I'm not about to play with you guys. I know y'all can add. We're not about to do that. So while I am okay with you guys knowing how much we make every month, I'm not going to specifically tell you how much we bring in every week because, again, y'all can add. But it's not that I care that y'all know. It's because my coworkers do know about my channel. I don't think they watch the videos, but just in case, money makes people act funny, and I ain't got time for that. So I'm not saying my coworkers, they even care, but I don't know that, and I need to protect my family. So, and like, I would be showing you my husband's income too. So even though my coworkers might be okay with it, one of his coworkers or whatever might stumble across my video one day and discover how much he makes, have a hissy fit, go to HR, and he be sitting in the HR office. Like, we don't have time for that. So you guys don't need to know how much we bring in every week in order to do this process, or, you know, take the tips and apply it to your process. So that's the only reason. Like, I really don't care if you guys knew. I'm just, you know, trying to protect my family. So that's why I'm not putting a total right here, because y'all can add. Ain't nobody got time for no fake numbers. I'm not about to do this for a 5th time because I want to show y'all fake numbers. Like, no. All right. So this right here, let me just say, in my previous video, I said I wasn't going to use this section, but I actually thought about it. Now that I have this YouTube section, I could use it for my YouTube income, or if you have a side hustle, then, and you don't, you know, because there's not 4 spaces and like you have a spouse and you can't track each and every paycheck that comes in, you can use this for your side hustle money. So that way it's like separate from your personal. You get it. So that's what I'm going to be using this section for up here. And then I thought to use this total section for business totals for income, expenses, and taxes, which if you watch my trackers, is the exact same as what is it, that yearly budget overview that has the 3 columns where it's like January through December. And then the first one is like income, expenses, and then balance or something like that at the end. But if you watch my tracker video, or if you have the budget planner companion pack, then you know what I'm talking about. So right here, I'm going to write down our cash envelopes. So a quick thing on our cash envelopes. We don't use cash envelopes. Each one of the things that I'm about to write down is in its own account, in its own separate account. Because I bank with Chase and I have their Chase Sapphire checking account, and that account allows me to set up 9 different checking accounts under, like, as long as it's under the one main Sapphire account. It allows me to set up 9 checking accounts and as many savings accounts without a fee, like without a checking or savings fee for each one of those accounts that I create. I would just pay the one checking fee amount. It is $25 because we don't meet the like income, because you have to have a certain amount of money sitting in that account at all times. And we don't meet that. It's like, is high. Is really high. I forgot what it is, but I thought that being able to have a digital cash envelope would be much better than having cash envelopes, because I hate going to the bank and pulling out cash and then I have to stuff it. And then what if me and my husband need to go to the grocery store, but I have the cash envelopes? Like, we tried that whole thing. It didn't work. So we don't do cash envelopes, but he has access to the accounts. I have access to the accounts. And if either one of us needs to go to the grocery store, all we do is we transfer that money from the groceries account or whatever cash, digital cash account, and we transfer it to our main account that pays all of the bills. So we only carry one checking account card for all of our bills. And then we have fund money, which we transfer $50 every month to our Chime accounts. And that money is for us and us alone to have fun with. So whatever we want to spend it on. If I want to go to Target and get that mascara I was talking about before, I don't have to even look at my diaper cash envelope. I can just pull it out of my fund money, which is in a separate account, separate bank, everything. So I'll link those down below if you want to check them out, but that is how my cash envelopes work. If you want more details, again, hit me up in the comments or DM me on Instagram. Okay, so these are our cash envelopes. So like I said, me, my husband, and my son get $50 each for fund money. So my son, he's only 1, but he's in a daycare. They are very active. They're always having parties, whatever. So whenever the teachers be like, oh, do you want to contribute towards pizza for the class? I don't even have to worry about it. I take it out of his money. So yeah, that's his fun money. So he can participate in things at daycare. Diapers and wipes, we are setting aside $55 a week for my son. He doesn't need diapers and wipes every single week, but this amount included formula before. He's off of formula now, but we just thought to keep going with the $55 a week because eventually it's going to build up and it's going to turn into basically like a sinking fund. I'm treating it like a sinking fund, even though it's a cash envelope. So I'll get more on how I choose, go into more on how I choose what is a cash envelope versus what is a sinking fund in my sinking funds video. So I'm trying to keep this video short. So yeah, essentially, we're going to have a second baby. We don't know when, but that baby's going to need diapers and wipes. So we're okay with building up that money in that account. And then for gas, we use gas $90 a week. So that's $4.50 a month. And then groceries, oh shoot. I'm glad y'all caught that. Groceries is $100 a week, so that comes out to $500 for the month. And then I have an X down for these because these are cash envelopes that I had accounts for, but Chase will close them if you have a zero balance after, I think, 30 days. So if I want to put money in these envelopes, this just reminds me that I would have to create that account, which is super easy. It takes like 5 seconds on a Chase app. Then I have to create those before I can put money into that cash envelope. So that's all that means. And this page, and this page is just basically a copy of like a paper copy of what me and my husband agreed on, if that makes sense. So, because it's probably like some of you are probably asking why don't I just go digital? Because I like paper. My husband is okay with digital. I'm okay with digital too, but have you ever tried to open up a spreadsheet and make changes to it on your cell phone while on the go? Like, sis, I'm not here for it. So it's super easy for me to just be like, oh, this dinner isn't happening. Okay, well, we're going to just put $0. And then I know that I have an extra $50 for that month to spend if something comes up or if me or my husband or my baby needs something. So you see how easy that is versus trying to change that in a spreadsheet on your phone. Like, nah, I ain't got time for it. All right, so let's move on to the heart of my process, which is basically my calendar. So on my monthly calendar, I write all of my fixed expenses, variable, debt, any planned expenses. So anything from this page needs to be on this calendar. And then, do you have any annual expenses? Did you check your annual tracker for anything that's coming up? Did you check your catch-all one more time to make sure you don't have any appointments or something like that? Everything needs to go on here, plus your paydays. So we got mortgage on the first. We got Vivint. I did not spell that right. Already making mistakes. Dang. Anyways, Vivint, and then we have Citizen One. So Vivint is our security system, and Citizen One is the company that financed our security equipment because we didn't buy it outright. So yeah, that's what that is. And then you guys all know Hulu. And then on the 5th, and I apologize if you can't like really read. I know I have this tilted sideways, but that's just how I write. So now you kind of know why I don't do after the pins per se on camera. That's what it is. And then Apple Music, we have a family plan, and then my school loans. And then on the 9th, we have our Amazon credit card. And this one is due on the 12th of every month. It's the 12th or the 13th. I need to double check. I have a checking account fee for the checking account that we use. We bank with Chase. 14th, we're doing Netflix. And then I'm putting down natural gas. So the gas for our house. And then Frontier is who we have for internet. And we do have a landline because I need to fax stuff. And then we have my husband's life insurance. And then we have another credit card with a balance. So that is our Sapphire Preferred credit card. And then 22, we have our car insurance, and we're going with MetLife because my husband gets a discount by going through his job. And then on the 25th, we have Verizon. And then on, let's see, the 27th, we have water and trash. So at our condo, these two were separate. Like we would get a bill from the water company and we would get a bill for the trash. And the trash used to be quarterly. So every 3 months we would get a bill. But here, we get a bill for these two together, which I actually like because, I don't know, I like it. So we also have some medical bills. So Kaiser Hospital. And if you've ever gone to the doctor, period, then you know you get two bills. You get one from the hospital and then one from the professionals. So like the actual doctor's office. So, that's what that is, Kaiser Pro, and then Kaiser Hospital. And then we have one for another hospital that I'm low-key upset about, but we're not going to get into it this video. And then just know that it stems from how I was saying that I felt like we were living in urgent care this last month or two. And then Edison is who we have for electricity, and that comes out on the 29th. So I'm going to flip to my annual expenses tracker. And we're going to see, so this is what it looks like. And basically, I'm just going to run down this column and see what I have checked in order to note what annual expenses are going to come out this month. So we have our Norton desktop, which is our the security system software on our computer, and that comes out on the 27th. So I'm going to put that down. Norton desktop. And so far you haven't seen me put any amounts on the monthly calendar because that is what this current expenses is for. So I don't like to be repetitive in my planners and stuff. So if I have it here, there's no need for me to write it on the monthly calendar because I already, if you look at your current expenses, you already know how much it costs. So it's up to you. I only write certain things like my utilities on the monthly calendar because in my current expenses, it's just a estimated amount. So I do want actuals, so I will write them on the monthly calendar. Okay, so where was I? Oh, looking at my annual expenses. So we have Norton desktop, and then down here I see that we're going to have the annual fee for my son's daycare. So that is going to come out on the 1st. So things like this, where this is like a first time for us paying it because my son started his daycare, I think in August or September, one of those. So it'll be the first time that we're with them in January that this is due. So I'm actually going to write $100 on my calendar to kind of remind myself how much that is, because it's not a regular bill. And then Norton Desktop, I'm going to do the same thing. So I know that kind of contradicts what I just said, because this annual tracker, it does state, like, I could reference it, but I don't have these annual expenses kind of like memorized like I do with my monthly expenses. So yeah. So that's why I don't put monthly expenses, because I'm kind of familiar with the numbers. So it's only when I see something weird, like like our car insurance went up $50, and I was just, when I was writing it in for December, I was like, that doesn't look right. So I just switched to my current expenses to look and see how much it typically is. And sure enough, it was $50 higher. So I hope that makes sense. But again, you could do it however you want to do it. Okay, so I think that's it for the annual expenses. So right here, I'm writing down the weekly expenses that I forgot. So like our gas, groceries, childcare is due weekly, and then diapers. And then you may want to list something like laundry is one that I wanted to remember to say, because we have a house, so I don't have laundry on here. So if you need to go and get change or something for laundry, then I wanted to just make sure that I said that, just in case someone needed to be reminded that, girl, you got to go get that change. You got to go get them quotas so you can go to the laundromat. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in like the next month's budget with me, I'm gonna just come on camera with all of this filled out. But it's like so satisfying to watch people fill this out. But I feel like it's boring. Like sitting here doing it for you guys, I feel like it's boring. But you guys let me know down in the comments, like, do you want to sit and watch me like do this? Like once I'm all done and stuff. Like, let me know if you want to see me write this out, because otherwise I could just come on camera with this all filled out. And then we can go through it, like go through my thought process and whatever, because it'll be a much shorter video. And then don't forget to put your paydays. If you have any side hustles, go ahead and note those. Me and my husband, we work and we get paid on alternating pay schedules. So we have a check coming in every week. We don't have any side hustles, so that's why you don't see anything extra. It is a goal of ours to create new streams of income in 2020, but that hasn't happened just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and add a line that says roll for rollover. So every week I need to be setting aside money for our February rollover so that we have breathing room that first week of February. I wrote down all of my variable, fixed, all my debt, all my business expenses. I checked my annual tracker. I checked my catch-all planner. I checked my work planner to make sure that, it's the holidays. Do I have any more potlucks or white elephant or Secret Santas or something like that I need to notate that I otherwise wouldn't catch because it's in my work planner? Do you have any other planners that you need to go grab and go look at? Maybe you have a house planner and your kid's schedule is in there. Maybe you need to go grab that, look at their school calendar and see if anything's coming up. Do you have anything in February that you made that's like a high budget item? Like, again, I have a wedding to go to. Depending on where that wedding falls, so say it fell on the 2nd of February. Well, I kind of need to think about that in January because I only have one day in February to get my coins together in order to pay for a wedding gift. So that's what you want to think about. Try to look at your pre-planner for February? Do you have a birthday coming up that you need to plan for in January so that you can save up smaller amounts of money instead of getting to February and then now you need larger amounts of money in order to get that gift? So you see what I'm saying? That's what you want to put on this calendar. So that's what I have here. I have my paydays. And one thing on paydays is that, did you take a day off that affects your PTO? My husband, I jinxed him probably. He ended up taking a day off on Sunday. So his check is going to be lower on this pay cycle because it was this past Sunday. So you get paid for the 2 prior weeks. So it was this Sunday he took off. I'm sorry. It's not on this calendar. Y'all get it though. So he took off a Sunday that's going to affect this paycheck because he works in the medical field and he works 12-hour shifts. Even though he gets PTO, they're going to pay him regular time and not that 4 hours of overtime that he would normally get for working more than 8 hours. So you get it? So I kind of want to know that, because now I know I'm not budgeting for January. I'm not budgeting on our normal full amount of money that we normally bring in. We're budgeting a little bit less. So do you have a raise that's coming in? Do you have a bonus that's coming in? Maybe you could I put a down arrow on this payday just to note that it's going to be lower, but maybe you put an up arrow to note that you're getting a raise. Maybe you put a plus. You don't want to put an up arrow because a raise is permanent. Maybe you want to put a plus to kind of differentiate that right now in December or January or February or even March, people are getting their bonuses. So maybe you could put a little plus. Put something that means something to you so that you know what it is when you look at it and you're going through your budget, if that makes sense. So with my first week, I told you that my rollover catches anything from the first to the day before our payday. So the first and the second, I'm not going to worry about it because it's already paid for from our December. I shouldn't say December, from our January rollover from December. So all throughout December, we've been saving up in order to pay for these expenses so that we have some breathing room. So I'm not going to worry about this. Our mortgage is already saved up and paid for. So with the January income, I have everything from the 3rd to the 31st to worry about. So with this check has to cover everything from the 3rd to the 9th. So once I calculate, what I do is I take the amount of the check. Again, I'm not going to tell you guys the amount of money because y'all can add and I know it and I'm not even about to play y'all. I take that amount of money and then I subtract each and every expense that's coming out. And this right here is a birthday. That's one of my planned expenses. And then I write the remaining amount of money over here on week 1. So I numbered each one for you guys to see. So week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after my week 1 paycheck, how much money do I have left over after spending on these, after paying these expenses? I write that right here. Say it's $1,000. How much money do I have after paycheck number 2, after spending on expenses from the 10th to the 16th, and so on and so forth? I'm going to write that amount of money. I'm just making up numbers here. These are the only fake numbers, and I'm just doing it to demonstrate my point. So say I have $30. Say I have 15 cents. Say I have $600. And then say I have $38. So at the end of the month, I know this total is whatever that adds up to. I'm not about to calculate it because it's fake and I'm not about to waste time. So this helps, having everything that you want to do, everything that you have to pay for and everything like that. It's helpful to have it on this calendar because if you carry this with you or some form of it with you, you can make decisions on the go. So say like this birthday does not happen. I allocated $50 to this birthday. So say something else comes up where the birthday on the 24th, if he wanted to do something more expensive because I only allocated $50 to it, If I know he canceled and I got an extra $50, and then on the 13th, I find out that this birthday boy wants to do something more that costs more than what I allocated, then I already know that not only do I have, this is the first week, so not only do I have $1,000 remaining from this first week's paycheck and from after paying expenses, not only do I have $1,000 remaining, I now have an extra $50 because this was canceled. So now I have $1,050 in order to allocate for the rest of the month if I wanted to. So that's what I'm saying. If you do it like this, even if you're paycheck to paycheck, you pretty much know how much you're going to get. If you expect a lower check, you could just put on that payday sticker that, or whatever, something in the corner to tell you that your paycheck is going to be lower. So now you don't even have to worry about it because you got extra. Well, I hope you don't have to worry about it because you have an extra money from your first paycheck in order to help you out with this second paycheck of the month. Like, I hope that makes sense. Like, doing it like this on a monthly calendar and writing everything out, and then writing how much you're expected to have after each paycheck allows you to make decisions on the go. So how I do it when we get paid on Friday, I go ahead and I pay any manual expenses that I need to pay for this week. I go ahead and I pay them. So I don't care that it's due on the 9th. I have the money on the 3rd, so I'm going to go ahead and pay it because I know I need to go into that account and pay it anyway because it's not on auto pay. So why would I wait for the 9th until the 9th to pay this when I got the money on the 3rd? So these gas, childcare, and groceries, these are my cash envelopes. I'm going to go ahead and transfer that money as soon as it hits my account on Friday. I'm going to transfer that money to a cash envelope. So if you actually do real cash envelopes, that's just like going to the bank on Friday, getting your money and stuffing your cash envelopes. So it's like the same thing for me, except that I'm doing it with checking accounts. So you kind of get it. And then say after this month, I still have this $1,000, not on the 9th, on the 10th. Before my paycheck hits, I'm going to go and I'm going to check my balance, and anything that is still sitting in my account before my paycheck hits, or even when my paycheck hits, I just calculate the difference of what was there before my paycheck hits, and we roll it over to our sinking funds. So that's what we do. So this right here, even though I'm saying this is what is remaining, we already gave this a name, even though it's not here. We gave this sinking funds. So all of this is going to our sinking funds. It's just that I'm not transferring it to my sinking funds just in case something comes up during the month and I might need that money in order to pay for it. So that's why I'm saying I'm not worried if this number changes as long as this number does not change, because now I'm really dipping into my sinking funds. So this is just money that I potentially, this is your potential savings. This is your actual savings. I hope that makes sense. So another reason why I'm not worried if we end up using this money for whatever reason is because we do something where we pay ourselves first. So say we make $3,000 a month. So of that $3,000, we only need $2,500 in order to pay all of our bills, make sure we're eating food. You eat as good as you want, but I'm just saying food that's not rice and beans and rice type thing. So you're eating good meals. We have enough gas in our car. We're living comfortable on $2,500. Why would I budget on the whole $3,000 if I only need $2,500? So what we do is whatever we need, that's what I budget on. And then anything extra, I automatically, first thing when that check hits the account, I transfer that money to the sinking funds. So no matter that money isn't even counted in the money that I'm budgeting for the month. Like I already have money going to my sinking fund. So that's why I'm okay is if this money right here that's remaining after I pay my expenses, that's just money on top. That's just the cherry on top, because that's just extra money that's going to our sinking funds. You pick whatever account you want it to go to, but I'm just saying that's extra money on top of what you already put away because you paid yourself first. So that's what I'm just trying to get to. Let's see. All right, my perfectionism is trying its best to kick in, but I think that is the highlights of what I wanted to tell you guys and show you my process and everything. I'm going to go ahead and write in my totals. And let me explain really quick how the rollover works. So I know for this February rollover, this total, I'm going to break it up throughout the month of January. That's why I have roll on each week. So this amount of money I know is free after I pay my expenses. So to make the first week of February easy on us, because our check does not cover our mortgage, I want to break up the amount of money that we need to breathe, this amount right here. I'm going to break that up amongst the paydays in January so that we have breathing room. So that's why I'm saying that's how you figure out how much you can afford to put in your rollover. And that way you start to get a month ahead of your expenses because you're putting away extra money in order to go to the next month's expenses. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, again, please hit me up in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram. I will answer any questions not any, because I'm not a finance expert. I don't know if I put the disclaimer out there, but I just want to clarify our process so that if it could help somebody out there, I am more than willing to answer questions. So with that, I hope you like this video. I hope you like this budget with me and how this budget planning series is going. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hit subscribe if you want to keep up with the budget series or just any videos that I'm posting. So, all right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.